Hello and welcome to today's video, which is all about the underrated traits of the MBTI types. So I tried to find one underrated trait for each type, and some of them are, I guess you could say, based on the inferior or tertiary function of the type, but some are also just based on my general impressions or experiences with the types. And also, some of them are rather positive and some are rather negative. So, this is just once again my personal association. So, as this is an INFJ's channel, let's start with the underrated trait for the INFJ, of course. And it's ambition, clearly. We are usually much more ambitious than people give us credit for because they don't even see all the things we are working on behind the scenes and how much effort we put into a lot of stuff. um, and so, yeah. The underrated trait of the INFP is that they are very calculating, in my opinion. I said this in my video about the difference between INFJs and INFPs, that INFPs often come off as really soft and kind people, and they probably are, but they also have a very, let's just say it's their extroverted thinking side, I guess, like their inferior function when it really comes through. They can be very, like scheming almost, and also um, looking for their own advantage in things more than you'd suspect them to. An underrated trait in the INTPs is their adaptability, I think, because INTPs can come off as somewhat nerdy and like living in their own world of knowledge and theories and, I don't know, computer games or whatever they are focused on, and are, I think, a little bit known to not really be that social and accommodating, but in my experience they actually can be if they want to. Like, if they want to impress other people, they can. An underrated trait for the INTJs is their jealousy, because we all know that INTJs often like to pretend they're cool and calm on on the outside, and internally things look a little differently. And yeah, from my experience, INTJs can be very jealous and also envious of other people. The underrated trait for the ENTJs is, I think, actually their helpfulness, because they are often made out to be those very power hungry and harsh and dominant people. But I think they can be very helpful, even though they might help more in a more rational or practical way, and not so much in this emotional support way. The underrated trait of the ENTPs is their seriousness, I think, because they are known to be tricksters and jokers and like somewhat laid back or chill people, but they can be pretty serious. The trait in ENFJs that is underrated is that I think they are actually or can be the power hungry ones, just as much as the ENTJs, if not more. And they just better, they are just better at hiding it basically, or subtly influencing people instead of being too much in your face with it. The underrated trait for the ENFPs, I think, is their consciousness of tradition. So what I mean is that they are said to be those free spirits who basically live in la la land all the time. But the few ENFPs I know or have met um, actually do have, a very traditional and, let's just say, ordinary side to them. And it might be the inferior introverted sensing, I don't know. But they are not just airy fairy.